Podcast called with Jacqueline Mack. I'm also going to see if I'm live here on my phone to make sure that everything is working well and I'm not just missing out on something that I didn't click on. So what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about the ultimate CEO. Whether you run a business, whether you own a business, whether you run a household, or maybe you're considering running a business, or you're in leadership position at a role or a company or a position that you are currently committed to, this is for you. Because when you think ultimate CEO of your life, this includes all the roles that you play as a partner, a family member, that includes spouse, parent, sibling, you name it. There's so many different roles, aunt, uncle, right? And it also means in your professional life, what are all the roles that you play? What are the roles you play in your community as a person who contributes to volunteer, or maybe you sit on a board somewhere? Today's talk will serve you and impact you in some way. I am certain of it. If you decide to take something that aligns with you and implement, integrate, right? That's the thing. There is so much information, not only just available in this world, but literally at our fingertips. And my whole intention is to make sure that the way I show up and the way I serve, I not only activate and impact other people in a way that inspires them to take action, but to integrate on a consistent basis, even if it's just one little thing that in a small way changes their life or in a large way changes their life, right? So the ultimate CEO, this is going to be really easy to remember because I'm actually using the C, the E, and the O. And the C is for connect, right? So when you think about connect, what's your relationship with that word? What does that actually mean to you? And most people will say to connect with what? Other people, right? To connect with your team, to connect with your loved ones, to connect with your neighbors, to connect with society, or to not to connect, right? And there's courage in the clarity of where do we need to, deserve to implement some boundaries in areas of our life that we used to connect that no longer serve us. So this is a very foundational piece here, is the connection, because who you're connecting with, who you're associating with, are those people that will reflect back to you the quality of your life, right? So think about the different phases, seasons of your life and who you were strongly connected to. What was going on during that season? Where were you thriving? Was it with the connection of relationships that were real and nurtured? Was it financially? Was it professionally? You were just growing and thriving? Like, you can look back just a year or two, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, and really dissect that and be like, where was I connected and where was I disconnected? And where was I feeling that I wanted more of, right? Which also goes to, which most people don't consider because we weren't really taught this, at least in my generation, to connect to oneself, to take time to invest intention around connection to oneself and your ultimate burning desires. Not just your wants, not just your like to haves, but have you taken the time to connect, to have the clarity on what it is that you truly desire? And if you think about, like, let's use the general stereotypical CEO running an organization. They're living, quote unquote, by a mission, by a value system that the organization or the board or the leadership constructed to live by, to be represented as their brand or be known for, right? So what do you stand for? Have you connected to yourself enough to know what you stand for and what you don't? What do you love to like show up as, and what do you not tolerate? It's not allowed, right? Like I kid all the time, but it's true. I am very highly sensitive and allergic to complainers and blamers and shamers, right? They're kind of all in the same category. Now, does it mean that I don't complain? Heck no, I'm human, right? But I don't sit in it longer than I need to process it and resolve. I'm quick to pivot to, let's figure this out. Let's find a solution. Let's not allow our power to be sucked away by another person or a situation or a circumstance. So that's the C, the connection, the self to others. Courage is required. Massive clarity is required, right? And to know what that truly means for you and how does that serve you and ultimately your deepest desires and your vision. The E in CEO, enjoyment. What does enjoyment mean to you? Do you actually experience enjoyment, joy, bliss, happiness on a regular basis? Because to me, doing life is like in joy. When you're being fulfilled, when you're feeling like in flow and things are just so good, we're in joy, enjoyment. Like this is our journey. And are you investing, literally investing, blocking time with intention, resources, your time, your energy into activities actually bring you joy, leading to greater happiness and success and fulfillment? Because how we do anything is how we do everything. So check yourself. And if you're not sure, ask the people that are closest to you. Ask them. I'm going to share something very vulnerable right now because I used to be embarrassed by this. I used to, and every once in a while, my husband and my kids will joke around that I was the fun police or I was the dream killer. And this is like, whoa to me, because all throughout my professional journey as a coach, from high performance to human potential, to decision mastery, to return on investment of your intention, both financial, right, energy, time, all of it, it counts because we can't buy back that time. So when I was first told this by my husband, lovingly, jokingly, but also serious, on a serious note, I really took that to heart because here I am helping others live out their dreams and their visions. And yet I'm crushing them in my household, not in a good way, like almost suffocating them, saying, it's not possible. We'll never do that. That's not who I stand for my clients. And that's definitely not what I want to stand for my loved ones. If anything, I should be cheering them on just as much or a little more, even though I don't believe there's like a little more. There's greater, there's good, there's bad, there's right, there's wrong. It's just perspective of reality and you get to choose. So when you think about enjoyment, when you think about your happiness, when you think about, are you connecting to knowing what brings you joy and happiness with no judgment? And are you intentionally scheduling time to do things on a regular, consistent basis? And as a type A, recovering type A, if you want to put labels, or recovering high performer, it was like I would reward myself with things that I enjoyed doing only once after I hit the goal. In sales, hit the quota, launched the thing, enrolled X amount of people, supported XY company, made X amount per month. It was like, if that happened, then I would. And I was like, well, what if it was a yes and? What if I could experience the joy of doing the thing now while still launching and building and growing and receiving the goal, the experiencing of the goal, and then still rewarding with another experience of that? It's like, why was I giving my power away to something to happen first before I would allow myself to experience the joy? Ouch, right? And these were things that I still help people break through and become aware of, because so many of us were programmed this way. And how we do one thing is how we do everything. What fires together, wires together, from Mr. Joe Dispenza. He's one of my favorites. And it's true. But we get to pivot and choose and switch at any time if what we are firing isn't serving our greater what? Vision, our deepest burning desires. And we all deserve joy, every single one of us. And joy doesn't show up in bank accounts. doesn't discriminate in how much money you have or how little money you have. There's joy everywhere. When I went on semester at sea and I was in the favelas of Brazil, I was in the shanty towns of South Africa, I was in the slums of India, there were people that had so much joy. And this was really messing with my mind because I was a college student, and on my winter breaks, I waited tables at a very prestigious country club in New Albany, Ohio. And some of those people were full of joy, super humble, super generous. And some of them were not full of joy. And they had boatloads of financial resources, right? So again, we get to choose. Our perspective is our reality, but are we choosing with intention to connect with others, to connect with self? Are we choosing with intention to invest, set aside, block time for our joy with others or with ourselves, just being alone and doing the things we want to do alone? I mean, there are times where I'm like, man, I really want to go and do this with somebody. And there's times where, man, I just want some time out to go paint in my office or outside for a walk or snuggle up with the dog. Like those are things that bring me joy. The simplest things that cost nothing except some time. Some time you deserve to invest into to get that return on investment, return on intention, the ROI, right? Every CEO is looking for the ROI. It's the bottom line, but are we taking inventory at this level of connection and enjoyment? And there's so much energetics behind this. I'm not going to go into that today on this episode, but the E is also the enjoyment and the energetics of enjoyment that cause that ripple effect, which is magnetizing, like literally magnetizing. And it's how you create more, not just joy in your life, but luck as well. So let's just bump this along over to optimizing. So optimization, CEOs, they are looking to optimize, right? Again, going back to the bottom line, looking at the return on investment, looking at the whole organization. Well, let's look at your life as an organization, right? All the roles that you play, optimizing your personal life, optimizing your relationship with your partner or your spouse, optimizing your friendships, prioritizing, optimizing how you function as a business owner and a person who runs the household and or all the other roles that you play, a board member. Optimization. Well, what's required to optimize? Because so many people are quick to like, let's make this efficient. Let's hurry up and hustle. Let's grind through it. Let's get the thing done, right? What if we just slow down a little bit and recognize what's required to optimize, right? These are all the foundational pieces to build and thrive and expand and grow, right? So when we think about optimization, two major things are required: organization and prioritization. Organize the things so that we can prioritize what's really urgent and important and either delegate or get rid of the things that aren't. This is processes in your life. This is things in your life. This is people and boundaries in your life. Optimization. Organization, prioritization. You do those two things, the default result is optimization. And this goes into this year for myself, right? I'm refining and simplifying everything that I do in my business and life, creating more freedom, more fulfillment, next level expansion. And it feels so good to refine and simplify. When was the last time you felt the result of refining and simplifying something in your life or multiple things in your life? And when you do this, more clarity evolves, more connection to what you really desire. It's like, yeah, this is it. Or no, this is not it. Let's pivot and choose a different path. Because when we simplify and refine, what surfaces to the top is what truly matters. We realize some of the things that we were prioritizing didn't really matter. Look at our culture. Look at our social media. Look at the tabloids, like things that don't really matter in the news. Things that aren't super positive or serving the greater visions of the world, of humanity, of return on intention, of connection, of community, of consciousness, of enjoyment, of fulfillment, of freedom, of old paradigms that just don't work anymore. And I say old paradigms, the biggest one is high performance, right? And thinking like you can literally run your whole life in all areas as a high performer and not taking time to recharge and reset. And not taking time to really allow our bodies to do what they do. They heal themselves in most cases, if we give it what it needs: the fuel, the time to recharge, to reset, the sleep, the resting, the feeling of being loved, of enjoying life. All of it causes either optimal health or what? Dis-ease. It manifests in the physical of our bodies, but it starts with the mental, emotional side of things as well. So are we optimizing the small wins? Do we start our day with small wins? Are we truly owning our day? Are we giving our power away? What's our attitude in general about things in life, dare I ask? Are you being intentional with the choices and optimizing your mindset? Pivoting the mindset point is what I like to call it, so that you're wired for success, not just once, but what's the next level? How can we get there in a refined, simplified way that doesn't require so much more time and energy and resources that we're exhausted to even think about? Because at the end of the day, you have access to all of this right here, right now. The connection to yourself, others, the enjoyment, and the optimization. Are you even aware of it? Are you being intentional with it all? Are you deciding and committing that, yeah, optimization is the way to go. I got to organize. I got to reprioritize. This is a mess. Or wow, I just did a self-check, and man, I'm doing great. Like I didn't realize how good things actually were going for me. Sometimes we're chasing the goal. We forget that like the journey is really what it's all about, and we're not even enjoying that. This is about living the dream, not just dreaming the dream and hurrying up and getting there and waking up and being there and then it's over. Being fully committed to the experience of it, taking that consistent aligned action that serves the greater vision, the deep desire, really being participatory in your reality of, wow, I get to do this. I don't have to, but I get to, and I get to choose the fun side of it. It takes so much so serious. Like I still do. I just cut myself last month, putting that pressure on myself. Nobody else was putting pressure on me to hire someone. And I really wanted to, and I did. March, I hired full-time, amazing human to support me so that I can grow and expand in the areas of the business I know deserve my attention and need it in order to expand and grow to the next level. But I couldn't just decide on that. I had to put on my ultimate CEO hat. I had to connect to myself and get clear on what were my priorities. Where did I need to organize on? Where did I need to set some more boundaries? Where did I need to delegate and prioritize and optimize so that I could enjoy more fulfillment and freedom, time and money in both my business and personal life, and connect to the greater masses to create that bigger impact? Because that's what it's really all about. Me showing up to provide more impact for others and value with just one thing or 20 things that they can take that aligned action towards and integrate it into their life. And boom, next thing they know, they're starting to become better at decision mastery, having massive breakthroughs, no longer having the breakdowns. Sign me up. But it takes a commitment from me first. I just had a client yesterday tell me, when you rise, I rise, Jackie. And I was like, wow, yeah. And so did all the other gurus before me. Joe Dispenza, he rose, I rose. Before him was Tony Robbins, he rose, I rose. Gabby Bernstein, he rose, she rose, I rose. It's like, yeah. And now, who am I not to continue to rise, to activate that inspired action for someone to take my tools and resources in the Rise Up program? So when she said, when you rise, I rise, I'm like, yeah, that's why it's called Rise Up. Radical intentional self-expansion to unleash your unlimited potential that we all have access to if we choose to. And if we don't, that's okay too. But by golly, it gets to be so much more fun and rich in all the ways of experiencing this beautiful life and not getting to a deathbed one day thinking, do I have any regrets? Because right now, one of the number one top regrets for those in hospice is living out other people's expectations and never really living out their own. That puts a lump in my throat because those people I serve, they're not having regrets. That's not what they're thinking on their deathbed. I guarantee it. Because now they have the tools for decision mastery, for breakthrough mastery, for living their yes and life by design, to creating more fulfillment, more freedom in all the ways, and to not give their power away to circumstances or money or other people to tell them what they can and can't do. We live in a very abundant world, whether you call it God, source, universe that supports you, that breathes us, that created this beautiful thing we call life. I promise you, there's a desire in you. It's for you. And that ultimate being, God, source, universe, does not make mistakes. You desire what you desire because you deserve it. I really hope that lands for you today. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'd love to hear in the comments. I would love to hear in a quick review. How'd this land for you? What do you think about the ultimate CEO? Are you connecting to self and others at a level you want to play at that will create and gift you more enjoyment, that will also help you with intention to optimize, prioritize, refine, simplify, which again, the result of ultimate fulfillment, freedom in all the ways that you desire, not what somebody else desires for you or thinks you should or could have, but what you know is possible, because there is unlimited potential. It's just whether or not you want to tap into that. So I'll leave you with so much love. If you're like, where do I start, Jackie? Grab the Power of the Reset journal prompts. Grab them, 7 of them. 7 minutes, 15 minutes max. Use them on a monthly basis. It's April. Where are you with your goals for the year? Are you giving up already? Have you already surpassed them? Either way, these prompts will allow you to continue to grow and expand and pivot where you need to. Will open up and take off the blinders very easily, because the quality of our questions is a direct reflection of the quality of our life. Are you allowing yourself to go there to connect and ask those deep questions that can feel uncomfortable, but that's where the growth happens. And then as you continue to use the prompts, it's no longer uncomfortable. It's just like, oh yeah, this is how I get clear. And this is how I pivot and reset every single month to create that momentum, to create that clarity, that confidence, and that certainty that this is what I'm doing. And I'm not waiting till the end of the year to reset. I'm not waiting till something else happens to reset. You're being proactive and intentional with your aligned action in real time every 30 days or every 2 months. If it's a little overwhelming, you decide how you use it. I'm telling you though, monthly or quarterly at a minimum, and just watch how things change in your favor. All right, leaving you with so much love. Until next time, I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.